Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So every couple of months, Twitter freaks come together and make the communal effort to attack a recently premiering anime for no other reason than to be annoying on twitter.com. We've seen this happen with other examples like Nagatoro, Uzaki-chan, My Senpai is Annoying, but the hate directed towards this anime, the trailer for the anime adaptation of My Tiny Senpai, might actually be worse than those previous examples I just mentioned. So this is an anime that focuses on the romance between these two characters, and despite this frame, she is a short stack and is much shorter than the male character. But in the less than 48 hours since this trailer was released, over 6,000 quotes, and the vast majority of them are attacking this anime for two reasons. Number one, they're calling it pedo bait because the female character is short. And then the other reason is that they're attacking men for some reason. They're using this trailer as a justification to attack men and wish death upon them. Yes, very normal stuff coming from the Twitter freaks, but let's take some time and look through the worst responses to this trailer. So this is one we've seen many times in the quote retweets, saying another one where the female lead is overly sexualized and looks like a kid. So number one, they're saying that this character is overly sexualized because she has large breasts. That's literally what Coomers think, by the way, but saying she looks like a kid is absolutely wild. So here you have a series where you have an adult female anime character with large breasts, and the first thing users like this think of is children. Does that not concern you a little bit? It's just like a self-report, and there's thousands of people making this claim. It's a very strange thing to jump to. But here's another tweet saying, if a guy tells you he likes anime, do yourself a favor and make sure you get a restraining order against them. So here's my advice. If you come across a woman like this who is actually threatened by your hobbies, especially ones involving fictional content, get a restraining order on her because she is crazy. Let's see what other kind of tweets a user like this has. Let's see. God, I absolutely hate effing men. Man, I wish they could all choke and die. So besides the very reportable nature of this tweet, I find it so hilarious that their brain cells are so fried and they're struggling to make this sentence that they have to use man as a transitional word in their sentence about hating men. I find that completely ironic, but we'll move on to the next one. This lovely user saying, everybody involved in the creation of this should be thrown in a pit and buried alive. Yes. Short anime girl with big breasts, and your reaction to that is people should be killed. That's very edgy. Don't cut yourself on all that edge. Here's another one, another quote saying, eliminate people doing pedo-coded romance for men at once. Yeah, imagine using the term pedo-coded unironically. People ask, like, how do users like this even function in day-to-day life? How do they function in society? I don't know about that. I don't even know how these people tie their own shoes if this is how they behave online. Like, there is no way a person saying stuff like this is ever going to make it, honestly. Oh God. Furries might do other weird stuff, but at least we're not producing high-budget pedo bait. Obviously I've said this before, furry stuff's not my thing, but I try to respect. There's a lot of good people who are furries out there. But people like this need to be outed from your community. They are making all furries look like the biggest hypocrites in the world because we all know the standards this person is using to call fans of this series pedos. If it was reflected back on them and other furries, we know that would have a very bad connotation for them, right? And it's just, I don't know why members of the furry community are the biggest hypocrites about these subjects. It's exhausting. But speaking of which, just as exhausting, it's seeing artists post things like this. So an artist with nearly 100,000 followers saying this. Lollies, when they make another anime that romanticizes the infantilization of the female love interest surrounding the entire plot of dating an adult that looks and acts like a child. So number one, how are you an artist that's been around the block this long enough and you don't know the difference between lolly and lolicon? You're literally directing this tweet at fictional characters because you don't know the terminology of this stuff, yet you still feel so comfortable talking about it. But yeah, infantilization of women because they're short, you're the one calling them children because they're short. The only one doing infantilizing is you. And again, it's always so funny how people treat anime-related artwork versus more Western-styled drawings. Everything is so demonized. Like, what is the difference between this anime character being short and this artwork you make? Like, is this infantilizing this character too? Making it so small it fits like this and you can pick them up like this? How is that any different? That would be infantilizing by your own definition. And, oh, I'm sorry, that's right. It's Hell of a Boss art, so it's different than anime stuff. We use different standards for artwork based on the region it's coming out of, right? Yeah. This is made for straight up pedos. This is made for straight up pedos. Their evidence is a height gap. Last time I checked, I don't think in any country in the world it's illegal to be in a height gap relationship here. And also your evidence is doing a side profile showing off her massive anime titties. Like, you don't know what you're saying at this point. Here's another one saying, so gross to me, I don't know, maybe a hot take, but I don't think this is ever something that should be portrayed as normal, cute, and quirky premise for a show. Yeah, short women out there, stop it. Just, you're never going to be normal. We should never make being short normal. Disgusting. Ew. Like, oh my god. Find real problems, by the way. Like, this is an example of a first world problem where you're going absolutely insane over a height gap involving fictional characters. Adult fictional characters, by the way. But this one is really the ticker. Okay, so it says, I hate it when they make romance targeted for men. Basically just saying, I hate men and I hate anything that makes them look like they're being affirmed and loved. Because this is really disgusting, am I right? God, men are so disgusting. They only want one thing, and that's to be loved and treated nicely. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't lost faith in humanity, here it is. 92,000 likes on this tweet. Basically just hating on men. Like, I'm sorry, fellas. I know it sucks out there, but just keep in mind, these are Twitter freaks. You probably don't want them to like you anyways. Like, it's not your loss. It's theirs. Like, they're just miserable. But moving on, here's another one. Big day for guys who have never made any physical contact with a woman whatsoever. Imagine this guy when I showed this to my fiance and she thought it looked like a really great show. But what is it with South Park fans being antis as well? This is something I've noticed recently. South Park fans, for some reason, are some of the biggest anti-lolicons and anti-anime people that exist. Like, my brother in Christ, have you seen the show that you're basing your entire personality off of? Like, how could you be raised on that stuff and be so offended by an anime like this? Like, please, gain some self-awareness. Oh my god, this tweet right here. No one has ever given you an ounce of love or attention that you've desperately resorted to consuming media that gives you a false sense of hope to hide the fact that you are depraved and lonely with absolutely no purpose in life other than to wallow in self-hatred. Game end yourself. If this isn't the biggest projection I've ever seen, I don't know what it is. This dude is literally subtweeting himself, I can tell. Besides, the game end bait, again, super reportable stuff, but I hope this really got off your chest a little bit. I'm glad you had a little self-reflection in this tweet. Good for you. I've seen a million people posting this. Realest tweet I've ever seen. Bait for lonely dudes who get no bitches and stack no paper. And it's giving the other examples down here, like Komi-san, Uzaki-chan, and the like. And it's just like, dude, I guarantee you that if you care enough about some other people's hobbies to get mad about it, you're not getting any women, you're probably jobless, and you're making tweets like this. That's probably what's happening. That's a lot more likely than this situation right here. But moving on, I am begging you to bring back the late 2000s shoujo animes. Do y'all not feel the brain rot from watching so many male gaze, fan service, soft poontang animes? Tourist alert. If you think, number one, that fan service and things like that is new, you're wrong. It's existed since anime's inception. And number two, if you can't find anything good to watch, skill issue. Because you're getting your anime recommendations from angry people hating on anime on Twitter. Here's another one. Can romance anime ever just be about two people who look their age and genuinely just have an interesting and fun relationship without the BS? Yeah, without the BS. Like the woman being short, which is probably pretty accurate for a series that's out of Japan where women there are quite short, actually. But here's the final tweet. I thought this would be a nice one to end on. It says, "This the kind of anime they make for incels who are a threat to women, like giving an uncaged gorilla a Percocet to keep him at bay and hoping for the best." If this is not a Twitter freak, I don't know what else is. This is, I don't know. They need to show this to someone in a authority position to make sure this person's okay. But yeah, this has been a wild video. The responses to this trailer have been absolutely mind-numbing, and it looks like a great show. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even have heard of this series if it wasn't for all the hate it's receiving, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I feel like this is going to be a very successful anime. I already can predict that. History has told us that's exactly what happens when all these people complain about it. It's free advertising. So at the end of the day, it might be hard to see all of this hate directed towards the series, but it's only going to give it free promotion, and it will probably succeed. And just like the other examples we've seen, probably get a second season just because of the hate and the attention that came with it. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please share all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.